I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, I'm gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, I'm gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, I'm gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right.
Hey guys, welcome to the Smoking and Joking Show. My name is Beth King. I'm here with my amazing husband and partner in crime, Jimmy King.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Smoking and Joking Show. Here in the Smoke Pit tonight, we've got Joey McNutt, founder of Hinderless 22, veterans organization that helps with prevention of veteran suicide and helping homeless vets out.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So before we get started on the whole organization and the backstory of it, and just, I mean, it's a large topic as far as it goes. Why don't you give us a little background on yourself? Tell everybody, who you are, where you're from, what you've done, and then we'll get in.
All right. Well, I am Joey McNutt, from a small town, North Mississippi. I was raised in Burnsville, Mississippi, and I live in Tishomingo, Mississippi, which is only about 20 minutes from where I was raised at, in the same county. At age 19, I decided to join the military. I served 23 years total. I joined the Guard when I first joined Mississippi Army National Guard. I went active duty National Guard, and I ended up serving 23 years of active duty, 2 combat deployments to Iraq, and I was retired in March of 2020. So that kind of sums up my little military background. I served in several different units, several different positions, of course. And, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. Sometimes it was hard days, sometimes it wasn't, but it was all pretty good when you think about it.
Now, you know how they say us military folk, we ain't happy unless we're bitching. So if it wasn't hard,
that's
then
it. It's kind of like this thing I seen today. It said, I ain't got no quit in me. I got a few F this and got a few fits in me, but I just ain't got no quit in me.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
All right. So, Duff, Jamie, hi. We see you guys out there. Thank you for joining. Joey, why don't you tell us a bit about
All right, well, like I said, I retired. I was medically retired from military service in May of 2020. 3 months later, August of 2020, August 31st, my brother, Ronnie, who was also a veteran, Iraq combat veteran, he had a bad bout with his PTSD, and it ultimately caused him to take his life on a live stream. So many of the people out there watching and listening probably remember that because it was so viral. But after that, it took us a little while to kind of process, because something just clicked that night and we couldn't get him out of it. But we decided we didn't want other veterans to feel the way he was feeling and to go through what he was going through at that moment. And we didn't want the families of other veterans to have to go through what our family went through as well. So we thought about it, and we started out, we wanted to grant memorial scholarships to the high school that my little brother graduated from. And we were hoping that we could raise enough money to do that and help a few vets along the way. Well, our community supported us so much that when we decided to sell some t-shirts to raise this money, I mean, we couldn't keep up with the people that wanted t-shirts. We received so much support, we decided we wanted to do more. So we decided to make it a full-blown nonprofit. We started out helping Vietnam veterans mainly, because a lot of times they have to travel back and forth to the main VA facilities. So we were doing prepaid Visa cards for those guys. A lot of those guys had terminal illnesses as well. We expanded from there to just essential needs for struggling veteran families, because as we all know, mental health, it kind of starts at home. And if you're sitting at home and you're wondering how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to pay the bills, then your mental health steadily declines faster and faster. So we started doing that with the essentials that families need. Then we started training service dogs for free for veterans. We had a trainer reach out to us and speak to us about that. So we came up with a network, I guess you could say, of trainers that we have now. And we train service dogs for free for veterans. And all this was designed to be able to reach out to veterans. Once our name got out there, once people started seeing what we were doing in our communities, we started getting more phone calls, more contacts from people. Then we started setting up our social media things, and we just had a ton of not only veterans, but veterans' families reach out to us as well. So I spend a lot of time there talking to families, talking to veterans through social media as well. Well, we continue to grow more than we thought we ever would. And our latest project is probably our biggest undertaking. But it's a project that we felt that we need, especially in our area, which is a tri-state area here that has a ton of veterans. But we feel this project that we're working on now is going to help us even more reach out to veterans instead of waiting for veterans to reach out. Because, and Jimmy, you know this, we are stubborn. Veterans are stubborn. Now, we're not going to ask for much. You know what I mean? But we're putting the word out. And this project is a tiny home property that we're going to start housing homeless veterans in. And we're calling this property Ronnie's Retreat, after my little brother Ronnie.
Yeah.
And
I love
my
that.
little brother Ronnie was always into charity work. And that's another thing that keeps us going in what we're doing, because we thought, what better way to honor my little brother than to keep up the charity work that he was always doing. He was always trying to help somebody. He was always, trying to make sure people were okay. And he even used to do videos and stuff on YouTube and different things talking about self-worth, knowing your worth. Tomorrow's a better day. And, one video he even said, it's just a bad day. It's not a bad life. So I get a lot of the stuff that I do and a lot of the things that I say straight from my brother and his videos that he used to do as well. But this property, like I said, right now we've got 3 tiny homes under construction on it. And it's not only going to be housing for homeless veterans. There's also going to be programs that they'll go through that's tailored for their specific needs and their specific goals. We'll have programs for the younger veterans who may be able to get back in the workforce. So we'll have job training programs. We'll be helping our veterans that are not receiving the benefits that they earned. We'll help them get those benefits. We're going to help them go through that process. We'll have our dogs out there. We'll also have ESA dogs out there in our dog program. So ESAs will always be available to these veterans. Plus, the great part about that is if they benefit from a service dog, they'll be right there on site to be involved in the training of their own service dog. So I thought that was pretty great idea, and because there's lots of veterans that really do benefit from service dogs. Those are their lifelines. I mean, they really are. And the location, a lot of people ask me about the location. So like, what did you guys do? Did y'all find an empty building downtown, or is it going to be like a shelter? Well, no, it's not going to be anything like that. This property is outside the city. It's way out in the county. We live out in the country in North Mississippi. Okay, our nearest Walmart is 45 minutes away. So, we're out here a little bit. We can't even get city cable, but
we're lucky for this connection.
Hey, for 30 years, we could only get one telephone company. We didn't even have a choice. But
I think we have some pictures of the tiny homes that you guys are building on your property. If we can show those real quick, because you really have hit the nail on the head with being able to give homeless vets or veterans who are struggling some more structure, some more, opportunities, training, being more self-efficient. Yeah, there we go.
Right.
Um,
And I think that's a big thing because, in the military we were into this such a structured life, and that is seen that picture was Mothers of Veterans Suicide, and my little brother's name's on that Hope Mobile right there.
she put my brother's name on there too.
Awesome,
So
awesome, man. It was great
she's
to be able to
amazing.
see that. She really is.
That's
But
amazing.
And there's your
yeah,
brother Ronnie.
yeah, that's Ronnie. That was when he graduated basic training.
Yeah, when I went to my first graduation, I thought I was going to see some big buff, guys, and they were
Right.
all scrawny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, and
Yeah, I mean,
and the location is like I said, it's in a wooded area. It's peaceful. It's serene. There's even a small pond on the property, and like I said, it's just going to be it's a big undertaking. It's a big project, but I think it's something that's very well needed. And when we talk about homeless veterans, we're not just talking about the veterans that live on the street. Uh, we also consider homeless veterans to be those who are couch surfing, who don't have a stable environment to live in. You know, and like I say, I think that's what a lot of us miss the most. We had that structured life in the military. We always knew what we were going to do, where we needed to be, what we were going to wear. We had all this. Well, we get out, we get retired, we get, we ETS or just decide not to be in anymore, medically retired, whatever the case may be. And we're kind of thrown out into this world that we don't know.
yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of guys.
The readjustment is almost comparison to somebody who's spent 15, 20 years in jail.
Right.
And then having to go back into society and be able to acclimate is extremely hard for a lot of veterans. And I know when Jimmy got out, there was no information. Like,
right.
He was out for like a couple years before we even found out about Social Security,
Right.
things like that. And unfortunately, I don't like to harp on the VA, but especially with the suicide that just recently happened at the VA,
Right.
the 22 a day, which I don't honestly believe that number. I hate that number because a lot of people who, end up going to drugs to help, ease their pain, ease their mind, or alcohol, those aren't counted. They're counted
Right.
as overdose, whether it's purposefully or not. And
Right. That's only the number that's registered with the VA system.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the thing. The 22, 22 has become a significant number that people recognize.
Right.
The best part of that is that number has risen significantly. We're over 40 a day now, almost 44 a day now. Veterans
and that's why I strongly believe in us working together is the only way we're going to get this done. It's the only way we're going to help each other is by working together and sharing resources. I love these grassroots veteran orgs that are really boots on the ground out there speaking to people versus, these $1 million companies, charity organizations that have no real connection with the day-to-day veteran. And I feel like some of them lose sight on that when it comes to pulling in money and like fundraising and stuff like that. So
definitely. We've been really lucky.
Let me interject real quick here. Just to reach out as far as that goes. For those that are watching, if you haven't already, for those that have, thank you. For those who haven't, if you haven't already, please highlight in the comments. Try and spread the word. The show's going on. Get more people to come and watch and hear this amazing story and positive message here. For anybody that is watching, if you're wanting to check out Henry List 22, the QR code is up in the corner. Scan it. it'll take you to the website, and you can check out more information as far as it goes. And then real quick, just wanted to. Jamie High said finally got a chance to watch the show. Jamie, glad to see you back. It's been a while. Genevieve King said thank you for your service. Lance McElhaney, we see you out there, brother. Thanks for watching as always. Cliff Slike, good to see you.
Tisha.
You got to scroll here. We've had a few here. Genevieve said, "I'm so sorry, respectfully."
Thank you.
Tisha said, "Hi everyone." Hi Tisha, thank you for watching. Robert Thomas Cole said, "What's up, family?" Duff Beth King, make sure he gets. Oh, shit, it moved on me. Make sure Joey gets the contact info for FSB Initiative Incorporated and FSB Initiative Ohio.
That's another veteran.
We've had them on
veteran organization that works with homeless veterans. They have a lot of resources, and that would be a good person for you to, maybe bounce some ideas off, or at least have as a back person to call if you find a veteran in one of their states, and they will make sure they get them help.
Yeah, those guys, they do a great job. I follow them on social media. They're doing some great stuff out there.
Yeah, I love Duff and Chaz.
Outstanding. Heather Hoodis girl said very good information. Genevieve King said, "Yep, makes sense." Michael Glenn, thank you for watching. He said, "Same for me. I didn't know there were any resources. So as far as like getting out and just not knowing, is a unfortunate record on repeat." LaRon Rebel said hello.
Oh, what's up, Fire Dog?
Terry Malcolm said it's sad. Duff said on any given night there are over 46,000 unsheltered veterans. On that same night, there is approximately 1.2 million in imminent danger of losing their homes within 5 days. Those are
it is. It really is.
Numbers.
I get so frustrated because I look at it like you guys, gave an oath to serve our country. You fulfilled your oath. These veterans fulfilled their oath.
Right.
And we are supposed to take care of you guys afterwards. A lot of people have great misconceptions on the VA, and that you guys are all taken care of. You have free health care. Woohoo! But
that's the thing
we were talking about last night.
Right. The VA, and I try my best. I try not to bash the VA because, hey, go to the VA. If you need something, go to the VA. Medically, mentally, go to the VA. But there are some things that really need to be tuned up and tightened up in the VA system.
We were talking about it.
It's like you were talking about the veteran that took his life at the VA the other day. That's become all too common because he's not the first one, and these veterans go in to try to get this help, and they want to shove a bunch of prescriptions in your face and say, okay, we'll see you in 3 months. Well, that's not what these veterans need. These veterans need some contact. They need some mental health professional help, and they need it at the time. They don't need to be turned away with a handful of pills. I mean, it's not working.
One of the other things is when they do actually get in there, they speak to somebody, they share their story, which there's a lot of times you have to recover from after that and relive it for some time to get some balance. And then 3 months later, you have another therapist that you have to start all over again with.
Right. And I'm kind of I go to the VA outpatient clinic, which is an hour from my house, because the main VA facility closest to me is 2 hours and 10 minutes away. And at our outpatient clinic that I go to, when I go for mental health appointments there, a lot of times they don't really like to see me coming because the therapist there,
I can only imagine.
the therapist there, they won't see me. They say they're not equipped to deal with me. And none of the other psychiatrists will see me. They refuse. I'm only allowed to see one person there, and that's the head of psychiatry at this facility, because none of the other ones want to deal with me. And it's all because I felt I wasn't getting the mental health care that I needed to get.
And you spoke up.
And I spoke up. I mean, veterans get tired of going to a mental health appointment at the VA, sitting in this tiny room, getting asked the same 5 questions, and then the psychiatrist says, okay, well, we'll up your dosage for this, and then walks out. You're there 5-10 minutes. I mean, they can't tell you anything about you in 5 or 10 minutes. I don't care how much school they have for psychiatry. They're not they're psychiatrists.
Right. Well, Jimmy, he was struggling, and it was right around the COVID time. So it was calling appointments. He spoke to a therapist, went through his entire story. And the guy's first question was, oh, so you were in war and got injured?
Oh, God.
That's the first part of his story.
Right.
I mean, like, even when you do share and you open up, you feel like you're not being heard.
Exactly.
And it really,
I'm hoping
Joey trying to look at the silver lining for you just a little bit. I mean, at least, if you are able to see one person, it's the fucking head person.
That's right.
So there is a small silver lining.
They're watching their P's and Q's because you have a platform, but a lot of people don't have your platform. So
right.
What do they do?
And now my medical doctor there is great, wonderful.
Yeah, we have great medical. It really is the mental
health. It's the mental health side of it that really needs an overhaul. And I'm hoping this new head of the VA is going to get in there and really get it fixed up. The way he talks, he's going to. But they kind of all do when they take over. And I hate to say that, but I still encourage anybody to go to the VA and use the VA for whatever they need to go for. I'm 100%. Not saying don't go.
You have
because
to keep
it's there.
Record of it. You want to make sure that you are, you want to make sure that's the one thing I've done is I've always made sure the notes have been put in.
Right.
Because we found out, I think it was 7 or 8 years later, when you look at his percentage rating, he's not ready for TBI. He's ready for symptoms of TBI. He has a humongous scar on the back of his head, but he doesn't have TBI.
Right.
And so that stops us from getting a lot of benefits because he doesn't have that main rating.
I've got ratings for vision loss, not because there's anything wrong with my eyes or ocular nerves or anything like that. I had a subdural hematoma where blood built up in between the skull and the brain and put pressure on the brain. Part of the brain it put pressure on is the part that controls eyesight and a little bit of memory issues and whatnot. So I've got rating for vision loss. I'm 90% deaf in my left ear, tinnitus in both ears, scars on the back of my head. I've had the eardrum in my left ear rebuilt, and I don't have a TBI.
No head injury.
No head injury.
I got a whole lot of stuff wrong with my head.
2 years of occupational therapy, but no head injury.
Physical side.
Right. I tell you, it's crazy. It's wild.
One of the things that I especially connected with you was, at the time that Ronnie took his life, was the time you were actually struggling.
Yeah, I was struggling pretty bad.
And so I kind of had said to you, when my brother took his life, my first response was, if my dad was going to get this call about anybody, it was going to be me, not my brother. And the unanswered questions is so hard. And I could only imagine with my dad having to watch it and not being able. And your mom I just have to give a shout out to your mom. I absolutely adore her. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
As long as you don't have to ride with her smoking, right?
Oh,
I remember everything.
Real quick,
Right.
let me pay the bills here, get a couple commercials, read a few more comments because
Yeah.
we've got a lot to
And we
catch
have
up
our
on.
questions.
And then we'll get back to it. So as far as the commercials, well, the blatantly obvious one. If you're looking to, get your daily laughs in, come join us over on Crown Eater's Wife 1775 on Facebook. You'll get a lot of inappropriate humor, military humor, dark humor. Our goal is healing, our ideal is healing through laughter, and our goal is to make everybody spit
Yeah,
the
you're
coffee out
either
at
going to
least once a
spit
day.
your coffee out,
If you're laughing,
laugh, or
if
shake
you're
your head.
smiling and laughing at something that we post, and if you're smiling and laughing at something we post, then you're probably less likely, hopefully, to go to those dark places. If you want to check out some of our gear, we've got sweatshirts, t-shirts, zip-up hoodies, and a few other things as far as that goes over on CW1775.org. Click on the shop or scan the QR code and come check us out. For all your business needs, if you're wanting to improve your business, start your own business, start your own veterans org, or sell your products and services to the government, check out Artias at YESRTS.com. These guys are amazing over there. If you're a service disabled veteran, check out vets365.org. It's all the same people at Artias, but they do all the stuff, all the same stuff for service disabled veterans for free. These guys are great. They're the ones helping us build our org. They've walked us through it step by step, and they break it down bar to sound and keep it simple, stupid. That's YESRTS.com. For all your health and fitness needs, if you want to get physically right, which will help you get mentally right, if you want to get healthy, check out Anthony Chapontier over at ACMJ Fitness at gmail.org. I'm sorry, acmjfitness@gmail.com. And he'll get you looking right and feeling right. And for all your for all your beauty needs, reach out to Ralphie and Con over on TikTok shops with their beauty essentials. Get your hair did, nails, makeup, you name it, she'll get you right.
And then
so now
also look up if you guys look up in the left hand corner, we've got the Hinderless 22 site, QR code. Please check them out. Donate to them. They're actually out there working, and they have boots on the ground, and your money's going to help a veteran.
Definitely.
All right, some of these comments, going back just a little bit, Cliff Slike said that there are a few states who don't report veteran status on suicides. One is California, which is an unfortunate aspect. That makes it even makes the number go up even more, but we don't know by how much. Patricia Campbell did a highlight. Thank you. Good to see you here. Sherry said, I'm a teacher at a community college. We used to have training for dealing with veterans in crisis. Then it kind of went away. I used to have a designation on my office door for veterans.
Oh, that would be great.
That's awesome. I would say put it back up regardless of what the school says, but that's just
right.
JP Patterson said the idea is to be proactive. Be the one. A Legion initiative is forward moving to keep in touch with vets, regardless if they are homeless or worried about taking their life. Duff said the VA is doing a lot better since 2016 and still has room for improvement. True. This is true. Jerry said it's hard to share. Jamie said nowadays service members get much more info if they are plugged into social media. I'm in the military Discord that provides resources for both active duty and veterans.
Put that up there.
That's awesome.
Definitely put the link in the comments.
Jamie, if you can share that into the comments, that would be great. Duff said JP in the FSB. Shit, it's moving on me. We check weekly at first, then bi-weekly, then monthly, but never stop. Lance said, I fear the closest VA hospital to where I live is about 2.5 hours away, and there are 3 of them about the same
Either
drive.
direction, it's 2.5 hours away.
Wow.
Duff said, shit, I just had my psych CMP, and it's taken a whole week to resemble my normal. JP said, so Joey, if that's the case, what is the cure? We've had so many comments, and we talked about a few things. I don't remember what the topic was.
Now, this is just me personally. I'll say this. I don't believe there's a cure.
No.
I believe that we learn coping mechanisms and different ways to deal with it, to where we can actually deal with it better, cope with it more healthy, and then we can start living a more productive lifestyle.
I think it's also just being connected and, you know, in your healthy stage. So when you get to that place, you have that connection, you can reach out. So it's starting even before, you know, anything like that happens, is really reaching out. And, you know, the camaraderie is what you guys miss a lot.
Right.
A couple more here.
Yeah.
Beth, when you were talking about my instance with them saying I don't have a TBI and all that, Lance said that Jimmy is just faking it. Cliff said, if you need assistance between now and your next appointment, feel free to call me. I have an MS in counseling.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, Cliff.
Yeah, that's why we actually ended up adding somebody on our group that, you know, goes around and talks about suicide prevention. Lorianne, we've added her as an admin because we have gotten calls from veterans late at night. Jimmy's had to, you know, talk somebody down that had a gun in their mouth. But we're not trained. You know, we just have a love and passion for our veterans and can understand. Like, I've attempted suicide. It was 1 year after being sober, and I don't know what happened. Something just snapped in my head, and it took a handful of pills. And if Jimmy hadn't woken up early that night or that morning and found me, I wouldn't be here today. Jimmy hates when I say this, but it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because the day I woke up, I appreciate life in a way that I cannot describe or could have ever done it before.
Right.
You know, and I think people don't realize how much they're loved and how much their lives will be a ripple effect. Because you get stuck in that moment. It's a moment, but it can be the impulses and not having somebody to reach out to, I think was a big trigger for me, not having at that time. And I think it helped so many others.
I think so. And I think that's a big part of it. So, and another thing is everybody looks around and they look at nonprofits and the people out here doing stuff. But I think one of the big aspects is something that a lot of people don't see. And that's what you were just talking about, was, you know, the phone calls, the talking through social medias and different things of that nature. I mean, that's a big part of what we do to, you know, I don't like to say help veterans. Veterans don't want help, but we want to give them a hand up. And that's a big part of giving them that hand up. You know,
I think they want to be seen and heard. I think that's the serious problem, is they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard. And I feel like I do try to do that. I try to make sure everybody that follows me, that I interact with, that I see them, I hear them. Even when we don't always agree, I still see them, hear them, and respect their opinion. And I don't.
And like you said a while ago, you know, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a licensed psychiatrist. But what I can do is I can talk to you from my real life experience. And you know, it's like I've told groups of veterans before. Hey, you might be a Vietnam veteran, Afghanistan veteran, Iraq veteran. We may not have been in the same conflict, but I guarantee you, we've had the same types of feelings over things that happen in the
Yeah.
combat zones, and we've got the same type of emotions. And we can talk about that because that's real. I didn't learn that in a school somewhere. So I mean that's what veterans are looking for, I think. And I was one of those veterans when I went to the VA the first few times, and I had a therapist that had no military experience at all. I was like, nah, screw this.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I completely understand that. I was kind of the same way when it came to, I had a therapist, and I was looking for a therapist in recovery that, had been through the struggle that I had been through. And
Right.
I tell you, she was life changing because she could relate to me. Like we, yeah, she changed my life, and I'm so lucky that I had that. But not everybody gets that.
Right.
And
Well, I can
that's
tell you if you're in my area down here, oh, you better
right.
get that because I run this nonprofit and I'm working with veterans and different things. And
Mhm.
my sister, now she also runs a nonprofit. She is the uh, president of our local recovery program for women.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I told somebody here the other day. I said, when you look back and see my sister and myself when we were younger, teenagers, early 20s, you'd never thought that one day one of us would be saving lives and the other one saving souls.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, real quick, because I'm way behind as far as it goes.
yeah, and I'm
Oh,
not
yeah. Your
seeing any comments,
questions.
Jimmy. So if you see some that you want to read off or some that you think is pertinent, go ahead and let us know.
We like
Let's
to
go ahead and
interrupt
ask
just to make sure people
our.
know that we realize they're here and watching. So, um, hi to let's see, Tiffany Wickens. She joined us. We ain't seen her in 20
She's
years.
the original Walter Reed group. Like, that was the first person I met at Walter Reed, and
Wow.
we were thick as thieves. I got stories.
It seems Lance was clarifying that with the TBI it might be real, but he thinks I'm faking it with my leg. JP said, Joe, you said that VA mental health care was lacking in your case. So if the VA can't help us in many cases across the country, how do we fix it? A buddy system has been floated, but there isn't one in place.
Actually, there is one in place. Now, it may not be something organized, but there's always a buddy system in place. That's just say you and I, Jimmy. I could be having a bad night. Now, there's no organized buddy system out there anywhere besides the 988 number, but I could pick up my phone and call you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
there's always somebody you can give a call to. And that's the whole thing. Us being on here together, us all working together, that's the network. I mean, that's the buddy system, and that's what we're here to try to do. So for anybody out there that's watching or listening, I mean, always feel free to contact any of us. You don't have to
Absolutely.
contact a organized company or an organized medical facility. You can always contact some of us, and we can
Yeah.
go from there.
When you were talking about, one of the things that a couple was months ago, a friend of theirs from 2-4 had passed away from a motorcycle accident, and we did a memorial show. And the one thing that just has struck a chord with me and I've held on to since was everybody spoke about, he had a list of like 150 people, and he would call and just keep working down his list, and how many people appreciated that and remembered that. If we can get back to that, we're so easy to quick to text
Right.
or see each other's Facebook lives.
Right.
We're not, we need to get back to making those phone calls.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And if the first phone call, nobody answers, hey, call
Put it on
somebody
the
else.
list.
Hey,
That's what he
everybody
would
is,
do.
yeah,
That's what
everybody
Shay
has got
would
a
do.
whole list of people in their phones.
He would call people sometimes 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, but he always
Right.
called.
Right.
I think I already missed him because one of his comments said that he's popping smoke, but Blended Veteran stopped in, said howdy, said he has a special message for Jens. Stay amazing, blessed, and less stressed. Y'all are loved, worthy, and someone's reason to smile, drink, or both. And then he said he's
That should be my
said he was popping
tagline at
smoke.
this point.
And there's lots of times during the day that Blended Veteran is my reason to smile. He makes me smile a lot.
Theo said lap dances would fix his stress as well. So
Jimmy, this is Jimmy's. Jimmy and Duff have a bromance. I absolutely love it. But yeah, Jimmy.
yeah, Duff, my boy. He likes to think he's the big spoon, but you know.
Why don't we get to
Yeah,
our bad advice?
All right, so Ryder writes in, says, how should I go about building my own doomsday shelter in the woods? Bad advice only.
Oh, dynamite works every time. C4. Hey, all you need is a hole to get in, right?
Yep. I would tag team that answer and say take a page out of all the young ones' books and pretend you're on Minecraft. Build the entire shelter underground out of walls in the ceiling made of dynamite.
Wow.
I'm calling an all midget demolition group and construction group that's gonna dig that hole for me.
All midgets to build it to their size.
I'm not far off, so it's okay. Nobody invited you, Jimmy.
Well, hey, I'm like half a midget. I'm 5'7" or so on my right foot, and 3'2" on my left. So
I'm doing you a favor. You do not want to be locked up in a hole with me.
Love you, babe.
Love you too.
Lance McElhaney said, just steal someone else's, even if you have to kill them and assume their identity. Well, that's one way to get your shelter. Jeremy Daniels said debt cord.
That'll work.
Yeah, use debt cord to string your lights.
Oh.
Okay, we got another one.
Got a hypothetical hijinks, but let's see. I thought we had one other bad advice. Now I don't remember what it is. I'll blame the TBI I don't have.
Okay, so let's say you're out there, you've had a late night, building a tiny home, and then all of a sudden aliens show up. What do you do to get them to finish?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Let's see. I'm stumped on that one, just to be honest with you.
You just don't want to admit you're going to you're going to be probed just to get it. I would offer Jimmy up to be probed to finish the job.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord. Only if they're using liquid lava soap or lube. Lance said that I use dynamite as candles. Genevieve King said, love you guys. This is great dialogue and informative, and I am enjoying it. Sherry said, this has been fun. I cannot believe Beth lives in my hometown. It's a shit show there.
We don't leave like our neighborhood very much. And
That's
usually like to go 2 towns over.
Carl Hindle wanted some clarification on your question there. He said illegal aliens or green ones.
I said green. I started laughing like, oh no, we ain't going this way. I stick my foot in my mouth all the time, and y'all just asking for trouble on that one.
Theo Torres said one of the aliens listens to P. Diddy's music.
P. Diddy fan.
Yeah, Carl said I need to take one for the team. Yeah, I'm all for being a team player, but Lance said the aliens were really just Navy corpsmen giving you a silver bullet.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let's do the hypothetical hijinks.
All right, hypothetical hijinks. Here we go. P. Diddy asked me to build a tiny home to store his collection of rare 70s baby oil. He will pay me well for it, but I have to get the check from his house at 3 a.m. in the morning. All right, now this is the one where you're supposed to give good advice.
You good
I
advice
told
for
you it
this?
would be a wild hypothetical, but now you have to give good advice for it. So,
Your sister's gonna be praying for our soul tonight. I promise you. Anybody got anything?
Yeah, so go ahead, Joey. What's your good advice on this one?
Oh, man, y'all got some good ones.
All right, I'm gonna say that my good advice, as far as that goes, is seriously invest in I just lost the name of it. A cast iron chastity belt. Before you go over.
Definitely don't wear assless chaps. That would be a no-no.
And then after you put that on, you might even want to, go dressed in a full EOD bomb tech suit to get that check.
Go in a hazmat suit.
Oh man.
Yeah, go in a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't get something.
You're right.
Carl said, well, in response to the previous one, he said, just the tip, Jimmy. Sherry said, Beth, hit me up on Facebook Messenger. We need to talk /chat. Theo said, show up wearing the underwear that Maid Marian had from the movie Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Lance said it's money. Go get it.
He also said, I bought a Corvette out of Compton. I don't care where I got to go to get what I want. Theo said, use super glue to keep it butthole shut. That's good advice for while you're there. Might not be such good advice for later on that night or next morning when you need to go. David Iola said, hello, Devil Dogs.
Hey, what's
David,
up,
thanks for watching, brother.
Yeah,
he's our merch man.
Yeah, he's our merch guy. If you guys are looking for t-shirts, if you're looking for leather work, hats, everything we do, he's the one who's not only the hard work, but sometimes the brains, because he helps us with our designs too. He's an amazing guy, a veteran, and we love to support him.
Awesome. And the shirts look great, I'll have to say. I seen them the other day.
Looking really
good. They're awesome.
We have a couple more coming out, and that's Jimmy's favorite. That was our first one. You got to really read it. It's got all sorts of crazy stuff in it.
Right.
But let's see. Okay, I know you just got finished with an event. Do you have any upcoming events coming up?
Well, of course, we do a lot of the local festivals and markets here, but our next event really for us is in June. We will have the fourth annual Hinderless 22 motorcycle ride fundraiser auction.
Awesome.
So yeah, we started that about 4 years ago. This will be the fourth one, and we do several rides during the summer. And that one is specifically the one that we do ourselves. And we also will do another ride in August that is hosted by Punishers LEMC, and it's a fundraiser for Ronnie's Retreat. This will be the third annual on it. They actually raised enough money to buy a tiny home the first year to put on the property. So that's where one of our tiny homes came from. And then we had a friend and his dad who are a part of the Iron Warrior Motorcycle Club. They seen what we were doing, were really interested. They got together and donated enough for another tiny home. So that gave us 2 tiny homes. But another little interesting story about how we got our first tiny home is we've been out here talking to people, raising money. I've been doing all the work on the property myself, just a chainsaw and me. And the word kind of got out. And a good friend of ours called me, and he works with the Better Life Foundation. Well, he does their annual ride with them and fundraiser for the band Three Doors Down. You know, they have their own nonprofit.
Nice.
So he gives me a call. He says, "Hey, man, I got some news for you. Guess what?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "I got a check for you from Three Doors Down and the Better Life Foundation. They want to build your first tiny home." I was like, awesome. So that's how we got our first tiny home.
That's awesome. I love Three Doors Down. I actually taken Jimmy to see Disturbed, but we've seen Three Doors Down live in concert before too.
But I'll tell you, last year their fundraiser was canceled, and this year it's canceled as well because they're out on tour. It should be back next year. But we went year before last to their annual fundraiser in Cherokee, North Carolina for their nonprofit, the Better Life Foundation. And it was amazing. They raised over $600,000.
Oh, well, can we get an invite to that one? Because we're in North Carolina.
Yeah, definitely. When I get a date on the one coming up, I'll let you guys know. Because, like I said, we had a great time. And it's right there at the casino. We stayed right across the street from the casino at the little hotel there. So we didn't really have to drive anywhere. But they have a big bike ride. They shut down all the streets for the bikes to come in. They have lots of events the whole weekend. Of course, that's when they raffle off the motorcycle and all that. So it's really great. We really had a great time.
Now, when you talk about Ronnie's retreats,
yes.
What is your vision for an actual retreat?
Well, my vision is these tiny homes, not all, but some, will be used as transitional housing.
Okay.
Right. To get homeless veterans, I say we're going to get them off the street and back on their feet and let them go through that transition through these programs to get more sustainable living and more self-sufficient. Some of them just had a run of bad luck. Some of them just were lost, you know. Some will be permanent.
Right. When I first heard it, I was thinking like weekend retreats that maybe you guys were planning on doing. So,
this is going to be a full-time program, but here's what we want to do, and here's what we're planning to do is we're also going to have this property to be able to be used for weekend retreats. It'll also be available for if schools want to come out and talk to the veterans, if the Coast Scouts want to come and earn some badges and talk to the veterans. We want this property to be a asset to the whole community in one way or the other. Plus, it highlights our veterans, and it lets our veterans show, that they still have worth. Our veterans will be doing things that they can show off to people that come down there. I mean, to me, it's a win-win because we're going to give them the tools to regain their worth. And we're going to be able to try to bridge that gap between civilian community and veteran community.
Right. I love that. I really do. You guys, please check Hinderless out. They've really taken what most people would let break them. And you've taken your brother's memory and you really put it in everything you do. I didn't end up crying tonight. I'm on my verge now, but
we do, and you can look at us and see the things we do, and you'll be able to see my brother in it. You know, as I was telling you guys when we talked before, that's where our name Hinderless 22 came from. That was
right.
my brother's screen name on some of his social media.
He was a
So
Theo basically for us.
right,
he was
right.
the shit stirrer under a different name, right?
He was. Yeah, he used that alter ego to badger his buddy in his own podcast.
Right. He's our
You know,
Theo,
to
basically.
right, to attract attention to it. So, but yeah, everything that we do, we keep my brother in as much as possible. From the name to the things that we do to some of the organizations we work with, or some of the organizations my brother were either a part of or had worked with before for charitable events. So, you know, we keep him in it. And because that's why we do it. That's
Yeah.
what got us to start it. And he's the one that drives us to do everything that we're doing.
And I think
And he
that's
told
something
me
that
one
you
time, yeah, he told me one time, he said, one day, Joey, he said, I'm going to change the world. And I don't, if he's looking down,
through
I don't think
you.
he realized how much he's changed it and for
Yeah,
the better.
absolutely, 100%. Like one of the things that you and I discussed is, you know, people always think they to volunteer you've got to go out and it takes all this time. The smallest actions, you can start with small things by helping and
Right.
volunteering and giving back. And I promise you that it will feed your soul and
Yes.
heal you in ways that therapy, that nothing else can. And a lot of times when I help another veteran or somebody else, I walk away
Right.
probably more affected than the mark I left. They've left more of a mark on my life than probably I have left on theirs.
Right.
And it it took me to a place of being able to heal.
All right, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Real quick before we run out of time, let me get the bills paid one last time and one or two other comments here. I think talking about the 3 doors down, building your first tiny home. Tiffany Wicken said that's awesome. Cliff Like said, when I heard tiny home story, I thought you were going to talk about evicting Keebler elves. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching the show
I would
tonight.
never evict elves.
I'm sorry.
I would never evict the Keebler elves. I love their cookies.
Right. Might put them to work, but
Right.
thank you everybody for watching the show tonight. Here at Smoke Pit, we truly appreciate it. As far as paying the bills for the commercials, if you're looking to sell your services to the government, start your own business, improve your business, start your own organization, reach out to Artias at YESRTS.com for all your business needs. These guys are amazing. They've got their own organization as well to help veterans out. If you're a service disabled veteran, want to do any of the above as far as starting your own business, etc., check out vets365.org for service disabled veterans. They'll do all the same stuff for free. These guys are amazing. For all your health and fitness needs, reach out to Anthony Schmontier at amcjfitness@gmail.com. He just wrote a book. He's actually out on tour. He used to be one of the hosts of the show. He'll get you looking right and get you feeling right as far as all your health needs goes. For all your beauty essentials, reach out to Ralphie and Khan over on TikTok shops with their beauty essentials, hair, makeup, nails, tips, tricks.
Also, one of the OGs of Smoking and Joking. I gotta have her back. So to make that happen, I want Ruffine.
And then, of course, if you enjoyed the comedy section of tonight, like the dark humor, like the inappropriate humor, check us out over on Facebook at Crown Ridge Wife 1775. We like to keep it funny and heal through laughter. So, our goal is to make everybody spit the coffee out every morning. Try and put a smile on your face. If you like the sweatshirt and you want to check out some of the gear, head over to CEW1775.org or scan the QR code on the screen now. We've got hoodies, t-shirts, zip-up hoodies, hats, truckers hats, ball caps,
and some amazing leather work by David Alario.
Yeah, all our stuff is made by DA Customs, David Aiello. Check him out at DA Customs. He can get you hooked up with just about anything you need when it comes to leather work, custom shirts, custom stickers, all sorts of stuff. I can't even begin to list the different things he's been able to make for us.
And it's supporting another better business while you're doing it as well.
Joey, thank you for coming on, brother. This has been an amazing show. The door is always open. You ever want to come back and do another show, let us know. We may hit you up and ask you to come back, most likely.
No problem. I've enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having me on. Hey, I think it's pretty awesome, man. I love the show.
Thank you.
And for anybody that wants to check Henderson 22 out, QR code's up in the corner. And as far as the show goes, please like, share, and subscribe to the Smoke and Joking Show. The more people we can get watching, the better. And it looks like we're out of time. So thank you for coming.
Good night, guys. Thank you guys for coming.
Show. We love you.
Thank you.
Join us again on Sunday night. We'll be here to make you laugh.
Yeah.